Good morning, CSL Carlsbad.
Good morning.
My name is Reverend Dr. Lori McMacken, and it is my pleasure to serve you today. And I'm happy to welcome you to this center, where we understand that there is a powerful good in the universe, and you can use it. So I'd like to invite you to just relax for a moment during our opening spiritual mind treatment. So I invite you to close your eyes and to go within as I recognize that one power, that one presence, that one unity of life that is always seeking expression in and through all things. And I know that I am one with this life of God, I am one with the love of God, I am one with that divine joy that continues to seek divine expression in the world. And as I know this is my truth, my perfect essence of mind, body, and spirit, I know this is the truth for each and every person here, being that individualized expression of the whole, that individualized expression of God. So we come together today as one, to remember the power and the presence of God as our life, as good in our life, expressing through us, as us, and by us. I know each and every person here opens their heart and their mind and their soul to listen to the divine message, to feel that divine essence, and to feel that higher power speaking to you in a way that you can only understand. I know for our musician Michael Paul Smith that the divine light moves through him with divine ease and grace. I know for Reverend Ahmondra that she is the conduit of the Most High. And I know and I'm grateful for each and every person who has assisted in bringing this morning together. So we come together as one, as a spiritual family, knowing that it is good, it is very good. So I just release this word into the law of mind, and so it is.
So it is.
Good morning. In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am. Let him feel and worry all away from me. I open my eyes and I can see there is only your love. There is only your love. It's a love that heals, a love that sets me free. There is only your love. When I lose myself, when I feel that I've lost my way alone, when I go inside and I quiet my mind and I hear spirit. Sweet spirit, that we say there is only love. There is only your love. A love that heals, a love that sets me free. There is only your love. For it's a love that heals, that sets me free. Yes, there's only your love. Yes, there's only your love. Only your love. There's only your love. Just open up your heart. You see, there's only your love. Only there's only, yes, there's only your love.
Michael Paul Smith, thank you so much. You're such a gift to our spiritual family. Thank you. Yes. So now I would like to ask Jan to come up front to light our candles this morning as we remind ourselves of the underlying spirit of life and the divine unity of awe. Now I would like to ask Larry. Thank you to come front. Thank you, Larry. One of our core members. Thank you. Practitioner. So we light the candle for life. Life is everywhere present, flowing through each and every one of us. There's only one life, and that life is God's life, and that life is our life now. Please affirm with me, I am life. We light the candle for love. The birth of love happens within each of us every time we make room for the Christ consciousness in our hearts and recognize our unity. We are points of love within the heart of God. Please affirm with me, I am love. We light the candle for light. The light of God is the presence and the power. We are always walking in the light. We radiate the light of God wherever we go. Please affirm with me, I am light. We light the candle for beauty. We are made in the likeness and the image of God. We are each whole, complete, and beautiful, just as we are. We accept the beauty of God's perfection as our perfection now. Please affirm with me, I am beauty. We light the candle for joy. Joy is the very nature of spirit and the true essence of each of us. We celebrate the joy in our own rebirth in the consciousness of God. We each can bring joy to the world. Please affirm with me, I am joy. We light the candle for peace. Today and every day, we open our hearts to peace. We are each a center of peace in our world. Please affirm with me, I am peace. Finally, I invite you to take a moment to recognize your own inner light that is always shining within as we each on our own metaphysical path to wholeness, oneness, and mental healing through the practice of the universal spiritual principles. Thank you, Larry. I have a couple announcements today. We want to welcome everyone, especially if you are new and visiting for the first time. Please stay for fellowship. We have lots of goodies on the table and lots of wonderful people to speak to, and sign our guest book if you may. I also want to remind you what we do most and what we love most around here is spiritual mind treatment. So if anyone is in need for a healing or a prayer for abundance or whatever it is in your life that you are desiring or needing to heal, please speak with one of us after and we will do a spiritual mind treatment. Myself, Reverend Lori, we've got Reverend Ahmondra, Reverend Maddie Goss, and we have practitioner Larry. Thank you. And if you would like to write, you don't want to speak with any of us or have a spiritual mind treatment, please write your prayer request down on the table and put it in the box, and we will pray over you all week long. So the Unexpected Income Program continues for another month. Sign-up forms are in the lobby that you can fill out and drop in the prayer treatment box. Who doesn't want unexpected income? Does anyone have any unexpected income demonstrations that you would like to share?
I do.
All right, Reverend Ahmondra.
So I had to understand that income doesn't always look like money. And I had to stay at a Marriott a couple of weeks ago in DC. And the lower floors, the plumbing went out. And they had to move me upstairs. And I said, you need to give me extra, a room. And they're like, we can't do that. And I'm like, sure, you can do that. You have that kind of power. And when I got home and called them, they had actually given me 2 nights stay.
Oh.
And I was like, that's unexpected income.
That is. Wow, let's give her a hand for that one. Just knowing that God is always in action, God is always the source of supply, and then when you live a God-centered life, God will always take care of you in unexpected ways. Okay, we want to thank our volunteers because we are a volunteer-based center, and we want to show appreciation for these amazing flowers. Pat, thank you so much. Look at that. How did God make this beauty? And we want to be grateful for Maddie, our greeter. Thank you, Maddie, for greeting everyone with your perfect personality and your beautiful smile. And Larry for the treats. Larry, thank you for your generosity. He brought a red basket of goodies today. So thank you, Larry. And Jim, you are our dedicated volunteer, always setting up early in the morning for everyone and videotaping us. Let's give a big hand for Jim. Jim, thank you for your assistance. And KGBBA's son and the father of her grandchild, baby Jane, Dave. Give a buzz for Dave for setting up. So there is a volunteer sign up in the lobby, and just ask Jan, and she'll Sherborne, and she will direct you to the book table during fellowship. Now, Jan knows a lot about this teaching. She knows a lot about the books. If there's any book that you would like to purchase, I'm sure she can assist you with that. I invite you now to take out your program because we will be doing the group reading. If you can find the group reading inside, and we'll read it together. So together we say, God is all, both visible and invisible. One presence, one mind, one power is all. This one that is all is perfect love and perfect abundance. I am an individualized expression of God. I am ever one with this perfect life, perfect love, and perfect abundance. Take it away.
Did my mom speak in the back there?
Yeah.
Hello, how are you? Good to see you. Just amazing, and you do some amazing things. You're amazing, just amazing. do some amazing things. You will do amazing things with the choices each day brings, and with every step you take, that's the progress that you make. The reasons are clear. It's in every gift you give. Love your life, love your dreams. You will do some amazing things. Oh, the places you will go, and the people you will know. Don't worry when, where, or how. You don't need to know that now. You're on the right track. No need to look ahead or back. Just enjoy what this day brings. You will do some amazing things. You don't have to work it out. Just stay in the here and now, and let your mind rest for a little while. Sometimes deepest answers come when you're out here just having fun. So close your eyes, take a breath, and smile. Ooh, 'cause you're amazing, just amazing. And you will do some amazing things. You're amazing, just amazing. And you will do some amazing things. You don't have to work it out. Just stay in the here and now, and let your mind rest for a little while. Sometimes deepest answers come when you're out here just having fun. So close your eyes, take a breath, and smile. Amazing. Yes, you're amazing, and you will do some amazing
Thank you for playing that. It's just so beautiful. It's like God reminding you that there's a part of you, a part of each and every one of us that will be doing amazing things in the world, that we are all a part of this integral web called life. So now I would like to invite Jim up to give us our inspirational reading.
Thank you, Reverend Lloyd. Good morning.
Good morning.
Celebrating the change within. When the time comes that nothing goes forth from us other than that which we would be glad to have returned, then we will have reached our heaven. Ernest Holmes, Thing Called You, page 25. Mother Nature's change of seasons offers the perfect opportunity to reflect on the change of seasons within us. Today we welcome a new season and an equinox, a twice-a-year event when the sun is directly over the equator and the hours of daylight equal the hours of darkness. This is an auspicious time to revisit spiritual goals and release what no longer serves us. Taking stock is a way of spiritual streamlining. Some helpful questions to consider might be, what worries occupy my heart? How can I release them? What can I do to bring more peace and joy to my days? If we answer these questions honestly, we can release some habits that get in the way of our peace of mind and step up a few of the practices that contribute to our sweet connection with our higher selves and our divine source. The equinox also invites us to take a look at balance. It's easy to get thrown off kilter and lose our center of gravity when we have too much work and too little play, too much stress and too little calm, too many screens and too little nature, too much noise and too little silence. If this sounds familiar, make a plan to cut back and revive some grounding spiritual practices. Walk in nature, meditate, practice gratitude. You will know exactly what you need and how to return to the spiritual equinox within. May we open to a new season of balance and inner peace, cultivating a sense of mental health. Affirmation. I release the past season of my life and open my heart to new beginnings. I take steps to restore equilibrium and strengthen my mental health to this day. And so it is.
Thank you, Jim. That was wonderful. And now, for our dynamic, our most amazing interfaith minister. It's such a joy every time she comes here to speak, Reverend Ahmondra.
That's such a weak clap. Good morning, church. That's a weak greeting. Good morning, church. Thank you. I am Reverend Ahmondra, and it is so great to be here with you today. I can't remember the last time where I had 2 sermons in a row. It's amazing. It's amazing. So, for those of you who weren't here last week, our title of the talk is, What Movie Are You Watching? And today is part 2. So I'm going to recap just shortly, but before I do, I want to share this with you. Everything is always in divine right order. Always, even when we don't realize it. When I was given this title to this talk, and when I wrote this talk, and when I came to part 2, and I wrote part 2, I had no idea that today was the equinox. No idea. And what that means is that today is the day, astrologically, that's the first day of fall for our continent, and the first day of spring for the other continent, Eastern and Western Hemisphere in the world. And it's a season for new beginnings. And that's what we're talking about. It's about releasing those things that you don't want and bringing into your life those things that you do want. So that was so exciting for me when I saw that. So I want to review last week for those of you who weren't here. So what we were basically talking about is that when you are watching movies from the past, meaning that something happened in the past, and you are actually looking at the past, thinking that it's in today. and you are not present. I shared briefly how I was at a convention, and this convention was happening a couple of weeks ago, but I was stuck in a convention that was happening 37 years ago. And as a result, the convention that I was in 2 weeks ago, I didn't enjoy, because I was thinking I was stuck in a convention 37 years ago and making a comparison with what was going on in the moment. And what I realized, when we do that, when we get stuck in those memories, those movies that are running, this is what happens. Not only do we get stuck in the past, we don't enjoy what's going on in the moment because we're not present. Sometimes we berate ourselves for not being able to do what we were doing in the past today, because we're thinking that we should be doing what we did then. Or we begin to blame our surroundings or what's going on right now, because we're comparing it to the way things used to be in the past. And then we also compare our life, who we are, to others. But we're not comparing ourselves of today. We're comparing ourselves of yesterday with what's going on today. Like I was talking about how I was 35 then, but I'm not 35 today. But I was comparing this person today to the 35-year-old, causing much internal conflict. I want to also say this, that last week I talked about how the mind does not distinguish between the past, the present, or the future. So when you have a thought in your mind and you're holding it, the mind doesn't know that it happened 50 years ago. The mind just knows that you're holding a thought, and it will do everything in its power to make it happen for you. And that's turmoil, and that's conflict, and that is not peace of mind. Ernest Holmes tells us this, that when you change your thinking, you change your mind. We've been hearing that for a long time. Well, I'm saying that when you stop watching those reruns, you also change your mind. Because when we get stuck in reruns, how many of you know what I'm talking about when I say reruns? Okay, because you got that look on your face like, what is she talking about? When you get stuck in those reruns, you get stuck in this loop, and it just keeps running over and over and over again. And a lot of times we don't know how to get unstuck. And the first way to get unstuck is to begin to understand where you are actually living. You're not living in the present, you're living in the past. So the 5 steps that I identified last week were how to get unstuck, or how to keep yourself present, how to create peace of mind. Step 1, accepting what cannot be controlled. Stop trying to control the world. If you're like me, you want to control my life, and everybody else's life. Stop doing that. Stay focused on the here and now. What's present? What's happening here? Not what happened yesterday, 15 years ago, or not even projecting what's going to happen. Stay right here. Forgiving others and yourself. Releasing grudges. They should have did that. They should have did that. They did this to me. Releasing that, but also forgive yourself. If you did something that you don't feel good about today, and it happened yesterday, just let it go. Forgive yourself. My mom said, and I said this last week, you make the best decision with the information you have in the moment. So you can't look back and say, I should have done, because you don't have the information then that you have today. Keeping track of your thoughts and emotions. Keep track of the thoughts and emotions, and staying connected to the divinity, your divinity. So today we are going to be stepping in those last 2 steps. Keeping track of your thoughts and emotions, and staying connected to your divine spirit. When we want to keep track of our thoughts and emotions, I go to Ernest Holmes' quote. And it comes out of the book, This Thing Called You. Everything in the world works harmoniously, divinely. I live in a completeness of this present moment. I live in a completeness in this present moment. Everything I need is right here, right now. And if my thoughts are not in alignment with that, I need to begin to watch those thoughts and see where they're coming from. Thich Nhat Hanh, the Vietnamese monk and mindfulness master, defines mindfulness as the energy to be here and to witness deeply everything that happens in the present moment, aware of what's going on within. That means paying attention to your thoughts. When we bring awareness to where we are, we can observe our thoughts, the thoughts that are running through our mind. We can see how those thoughts begin to create emotions. And when we're mindful, we can decide if we're going to allow the thoughts that's running through our mind, creating the emotion, to give us our behaviors. Let me share something that happened when I was at that conference. We were sitting in this huge meeting and listening to the main speaker, and the people sitting behind me were laughing and talking, and I couldn't hear. And after about 15 minutes, I said, okay, what do I do? So I turned around, and it was two women sitting there. One was younger, one was older. And I leaned forward to the younger lady, because she was the one laughing, and I said, sweetheart, when you laugh, we have trouble hearing. And I said it just like that, very loving, very kind. So the older lady beckoned me forward. I leaned in. She said, you just need to listen harder. And I'm like, okay. I turned back around. In that moment, you know what thoughts were running through my head, right? You know that those thoughts created all these emotions in my body. But I was present. I said, you have a choice of how you react. You have a choice. How do you want to react? You're inside of a Narcotics Anonymous convention. You have 37 years in recovery. How do you want to react? Like somebody who has a month in recovery or somebody who has 37 years? I took a deep breath. I got up physically. I went around. I put my arms around a young woman. I said, sweetheart, if I offended you, I am so sorry. That is not what I meant to do. And she said, this is my first conference. I said, I did not mean to offend you. And if I did, I am so sorry. And the older lady, she was like, oh, thank you, thank you. And I went and I sat down. In the moment, what I did, I was watching my thoughts. And I was watching how those thoughts created emotions. And I had a choice. I made a choice to wrap everything in love. See, it had nothing to do with them. It had to do with me. Did I want to leave that meeting being upset, angry? Or did I want to leave that meeting in peace? And if I had created discomfort for someone else, did I want to create comfort and love? So when I got up and left, I was in peace and harmony. That's what it means when you pay attention to your thoughts. Because the thought's going to come in. You know, they flitter in our mind all the time. There's something called race consciousness that we are real familiar with. Thoughts are just swirling around. They'll just go through your mind. Do you want to allow that thought to create an emotion in your body and then you create a behavior and you just run on down the line and then you get on the other side and try to figure out, how did I get here? Why do I feel like this? That is not how we cultivate peace of mind. You cultivate a peace of mind by always paying attention to your thoughts. You have to also ask yourself, who's doing the talking? Where those thoughts come from? Was it your 5th grade teacher who told you, you can't spell, sit down? Was it somebody on the play yard? Was it somebody in your high school? Who is that talking in your head? Where's that thought coming from? Is it coming from the television? Turn it off. Stop listening. You have that type of power. And who we are sitting here today, we understand and we know that our thoughts give us our world. And they create our emotions, and that gives us our behaviors. So what we want to do is make sure that we monitor our thoughts.
Can't always control them, but you can control your behavior and you can control how you react to your thoughts. That will keep you inside of a peace of mind. I just want to share, I got stuck inside of a loop of a movie running when I was 21 years old. A lot of you have heard this. My best friend was murdered. And I got stuck inside of that. And I stayed there for 10 years. From 21 to 31, I was stuck inside of this loop. And it ran my total life until one day I heard, and I know it was the voice of God saying, you have to let that go. And I created a ceremony, a release ceremony in our church. And I released it so that I could step outside of that loop I was stuck in and release it. I still have the memory, but I'm not stuck in the movie like it's happening today over and over again. That's what it looks like when you begin to take control of your thoughts. They'll be there. They don't have to control your life. Your behaviors don't have to be tied to thoughts that happen when you're 5 years old. We know a whole bunch of people running around that are 50, 60, 70, 80, but they're stuck in play yard when they were 5 years old. And that's why, because they don't take charge of their thoughts. Okay, step 5, connecting with spirit, your divinity. Ernest Holmes tells us this: we exist for the purpose of self-expression. The infinite has already implanted within us an instinctive intuition, which is the spiritual knowledge of good. That is within us already, the knowledge of good. Our whole growth results from our inner awakening. When we understand and know that, we can use that as our guidance. We know what the right thing to do is. So when you're monitoring your thoughts, what is the right thing to do will surface. Just like what surfaced for me at the convention. The right thing to do. Get up. Go hug this young woman. That was the right thing to do. That kept me currently in my peace of mind. And it also allowed me to give love to someone else in the moment. Howard Thurman, he's a black renowned minister and a modern day mystic, who he co-founded this church, and it was called the Fellowship of All People in San Francisco in 1944. It was an interracial congregation intentionally designed to break through the barriers that separated people on the basis of race, color, creed, and national origin. Now you know in 1944 that was radical. This is what he stated in one of his quotes. Don't ask yourself what the world needs. Ask yourself what makes you come alive, and then go and do that, because what the world needs is people who come alive. That's what the world needs. And when, for me, coming alive means standing in your passion. What is your passion? How many of you know what your passion is? Let me raise your hand. Yeah, okay. Those of you who don't know, get in that mind and dig it out, because it's in there. I know it's in there. Passion shows up as hobbies, things we love to do, things that we're good at. That's passion. Connect with that, and then allow it to bring you alive. Cultivating a peace of mind means embracing your divinity. Your divinity is actually your passion. And then putting those practices in place that keep you connected to your passion. Now, many of us have experienced wanting to hide parts of ourselves. Because somebody said something to us, we heard something, we had some experience, and then we decide that there's a part of us we want to hide. And we spend a lot of energy trying to hide that aspect of ourselves. Or as we age, we often get the message that what we are going through is going to result in us being a lesser person. Our society doesn't value wisdom like other societies do. I lived in Africa for a year. People who had gray hair, they were revered. People who had wrinkles, people like, I want wrinkles, because wrinkles denotes wisdom. It denotes knowledge. But unfortunately, in our society, it denotes that we're going to be possibly a lesser person because we put a lot of value on youth. We begin to hide parts of ourselves or feel bad about who we are becoming because we are no longer standing inside of what society calls valuable youth. We have wisdom and we have knowledge that the world needs. That's valuable. But we don't always recognize that that is valuable. That's our divinity. When we hold on to it and express it, it bursts forth like light. How many of you walked in the room and seen people and you're like, oh, I want to know that person? That's light reflecting off of them. It's wisdom, it's knowledge. We diminish our divine self when we let go of the parts of us that stir our joy and our passion. Go back and grab those passions. Joy lives within. But when we're not paying attention to our thoughts and how those thoughts are impacting us, sometimes we can't feel our joy that's deep within us. Our own authentic expression with all our wisdom and knowledge is what the world needs today, and it needs it desperately. When we are willing to be our authentic, unapologetic, uncompromising selves, we release the joy, express happiness, and we give that out into the world. So I want to say that a world where everyone is available to come alive with no more hiding, no more playing small, no more feeling invisible is a world that we all want to live in. That's the world we strive to have. And it simply means that each person step into who they are in the moment, right here, right now. Grab your divinity. Stay connected to it. Because when we cultivate our divine connection, we bring blessings, not only to ourselves, but to the world. So I want you to ask yourself a question. What makes me come alive? And then step into that answer and declare, this is me right here, right now. Gray hair, overweight, wrinkles, whatever it is. This is me right here, right now, and I have a lot to give to this world. Our world is in the midst of what I'm calling a spiritual climate change. And we are the weather people. You get me? You are the weather people. You know those people on TV like, this is what's going to happen tomorrow. That's us. We're telling the world what our spiritual climate is happening. We are inside of a spiritual paradigm shift. And it is up to us to alert individuals what is going on. Everything's shifting. The world is awakening. And we, sitting in this room right here, we understand and we know that. We have an obligation. Stay connected to our divinity. Watch our minds and emotions and take charge of our behavior so that we can step into the world and give what this world needs. Peace, harmony, joy. We have that within. So I want to leave you with this today. Let us remember, we only need to stay present. That's not as easy as it sounds, but we can do it. Consciously send our thoughts into the creative substance of the universe. Because you know what you send out is going to come to you. So why don't you send out something that you want to come back? That's what Ernest Holmes called heaven. Cultivate a peaceful mind. This way we will make an impact on our world and facilitate the spiritual paradigm that we are living inside of right now. So I leave you with this. Make sure if you find yourself looking at an old rerun, just stop the projector. Now, we're old enough to know what a projector is, okay? If I said there's to a group of young people, they're looking at me like, what is that? We know what a projector is. Stop it. And then create your own picture of what you want to see. Because that is who we are. Creative individuals in charge of this divine life that God has given us. I want to add a blessing to these words and a blessing to each and every one of you today. Thank you so much. Blessings.
Oh, thank you, Reverend Ahmondra. You kind of answered question for me. And I'm just going to share something with you guys, and just to continue in that feeling of spirit. If you're comfortable, close your eyes while I do this next song, or just take a nice deep breath and get calm. Spirit is calling you today. Won't you listen here and forever be changed? If you want to know, Spirit knows. Spirit knows. Spirit is saying to you today, won't you open up your heart and be changed? If you want to know, Spirit knows. Spirit knows. Spirit, oh Spirit, Spirit, oh Spirit, oh there's only Spirit.
Thank you. Thank you. Perfect. So right now, we get an opportunity to step into who we are as divine beings and give from a place of abundance. Right here, right now, I'm going to go into a spiritual mind treatment, and then we are going to have our collection. Understanding and knowing there's one power, one presence. That power and presence is within us, it's around us. It's an energy. We tap into it all the time. Right here, right now, we reach inside and we give of our abundance. Understanding and knowing as we give to the world. Not just the center. We are giving of our energy. We are giving of our money. We are giving of our time. We are giving of our true essence. I am so grateful that we are here today and that we can provide this energy to the world as a gift. I invite you to hold your peace giving over your heart and just know that as it goes out from you, it goes out and multiplies and brings healing to our world. A world that is waiting for us to send out our joy, our love, our financial wealth, our health, everything about us, our divinity. I'm thankful that we have this to give right here, right now. And I release these words, and I simply say, and so it is.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so grateful. I am so
So, as we make preparation to leave here today, I want to share with you a practice that if you're not engaged in it daily, then I invite you to stand inside this practice. Get a Science of Mind magazine and read it. Or get another magazine and read it. Write down every day what you're grateful for, but also write down every day how you appreciate yourself in the world. We are sending out energy into this world so that we can bring calmness and peace to a world that right now is swimming and swirling in all types of conflict, chaos, everything. We are those individuals that can bring harmony and peace. So I invite you to engage in a practice like that. Start it if you haven't already, and keep it going. Whether you know it or not, the energy that you send out into the universe makes a major impact. I remember when I lived in Africa, and the African mystic that I studied under, he would say things like this to me: the light workers on the planet are working extra hard to have something occur. I understand what he means today. There are people all over the world who are inside of prayer, who are inside of positive affirmation, sending this out into the planet. And we understand, we know how that makes an impact. So I invite each of you in your own individual world to send this out into the world and give it to yourself. Because when we do that, we can begin to create the type of world that we love. So I want to end with a mind treatment. We've come together this day as one, understanding and knowing that we are divine beings. Knowing that the power within us is also the power outside of us. We are all connected. There is no separation between me and thee. Our hearts beat as one. And as we step out of this place, we understand and know that those who aren't here have been blessed just by our presence. We understand and we know that we take with us this week consciousness to keep us present. We understand and know that we will hold watch over our thoughts. And we will make sure that our thoughts, when they connect with the emotions, that they are giving us the type of behaviors that we are consciously choosing to have. And as we make those conscious choices, we are tapping into that divine intention that is already within us. And it is called good. It is love. It is ours all the time. I understand and know that this week is already a powerful week, and that each of us has exactly what it is we need in our lives so that we can bring our passion forward and be active in the world. As I release these thoughts, I give thanks for the ability to have the thoughts that move us forward into the world and impact our beautiful world. It is no coincidence if you are here today. It is all in divine right order. I send these words out with blessings. I release them into the void, knowing that they will not be returned to me without being in spirit, in essence, and taking place in each and every one of our lives. And I invite you to anchor this treatment by simply saying, and so it is. So I invite you to stand and enjoy in our closing prayer, our song, which is actually the lyrics on the back of the program.
And whenever something